Big Three.
Parshas Naso is the longest parsha in the Torah,
with 176 Pesukim.
Wow, that sure is long.
and the longest chapter in the entire Tanakh
Is chapter 119 of Tehillim.
Also with 176 Pesukim.
and there's more.
The longest tractate of the Talmud, Baba Basra, has 176 blocks.
That's double-sided pages.
Coincidence or perhaps not?
It's a mystery.
Can you figure it out?
We can't.
Neither could I.
Mishkan Movers Incorporated.
Part 2.
Hashem called to Moshe, Naso, count the men of the family of Levi's son Gershon, who are between the ages of 30 and 50. Back at the end of Parshas Bamidbar, Moshe finished counting the family of Kahas, son of Levi. Their group, totaling 2,750 men between the ages of 30 and 50, was assigned to carry the furnishings in the Mishkan,
The Holy Ark,
the menorah,
the Shulchan,
the smaller inner Mizbeach.
and the bigger outer Mizbeach.
These furnishings were so holy that they had to carry them themselves, without the help of wagons or animals. There were plenty other Mishkan items of lesser holiness that were allowed to be transported by oxen-driven wagons.
Who are in charge of these?
The other two families of the tribe of Levi. And so, Parshas Naso begins with the counting of the Levi family of Gershon. Each time Bnei Yisrael was about to travel, this Levi family had to carefully take down the beautiful, multicolored curtains of the Mishkan, and the ropes used to hang these curtains.
They would carefully take them down when it was time to travel,
Fold them so they would fit perfectly in the wagons led by oxen,
guard them during the travels.
and once they reached their destination, they would carefully set them up again in the Mishkan.
No easy task.
If you've ever tried putting together some item that says some assembly required, you know how difficult and frustrating this could be.
No!
Not good. Malfunction.
I think we need a new approach here.
Enough already. Back to the Parsha, please.
As per command, Moshe and Aaron counted the family of Gershon.
And the total?
2,630 men between the ages of 30 and 50. Singing singers, singing superbly. The Gershon Levi family was gifted with a special musical talent, and its members were honored to sing beautiful songs while the daily sacrifices were offered. This Levi choir, comprised of 12 singers or more, would sing while they stood on a special stand called a duchan. To make this musical experience sound really fantastic,
Really fantastic.
the Gershon Levi choir was accompanied by talented musicians.
Not necessarily from the tribe of Levi.
These beautiful melodies flowed through the Beis Hamikdash, which helped transform this animal sacrifice into a spiritual and emotionally uplifting experience. Mishkan Movers Incorporated.
Part 3.
Now came the turn of the third Levi family, Count the men of the family of Merari, ages 30 to 50. Hashem commanded, they shall carry the heavy boards, pillars, sockets of the Mishkan, and the ropes used to hang the curtains. As per Hashem's command, Moshe and Aaron counted the family of Merari.
And the total?
3,200 men between the ages of 30 and 50.
And the grand total of the three Levi families combined?
Gershon, Kahas, and Merari?
8,580 Levi'im.
That sure is a lot of Levi'im.
More than you could probably fit in your dining room.
Unless you own a huge mansion with a dining room as big as Noah's Ark.
Nazir, a holy promise.
Wine, wine, wine.
There's sweet wine,
Dry wine.
Red wine,
White wine.
and even sparkling wine.
Yummy, that's my favorite.
some wines are so special that people are willing to pay lots of money for them.
More money than you can ever imagine.
Sir Warren Gates, may I interest you with this fine bottle of bubbling, luscious 1986 rosé champagne with a delightful aroma of tropical fruit, a sumptuous texture, and a marvelous aftertaste. And for you, the special price of only $1,000.
Absolutely. Nothing but the best for a wine lover like me. By the way, do you take credit cards?
Some wine connoisseurs
Wine lover experts.
have a special wine room in their house that is kept at a constant, cool 55 degrees.
The perfect temperature for all fine wines.
Wine is great for making kiddush at a Shabbos meal.
Or toasting l'chaim and mazel tov at a simcha.
L'chaim! Let's celebrate!
It can really put people in a great mood.
A very great mood.
But sometimes, for some people, wine is not good at all. It can lead people to do the wrong thing.
So let's say someone really has this wine problem situation. Is there any solution for him?
There sure is.
As a safeguard, Hashem lets a person become kadosh.
Very holy.
This person makes a vow.
I have taken upon myself to be a Nazir.
A Nazir means one who separates himself from three things. These are the words of Hashem to Moshe.
Number 1.
A Nazir shall not drink wine or eat anything at all made from grapes. So to be on the safe side, the Nazir stays away from parties or anywhere that he may encounter wine. By staying home and spending time learning Torah instead, a Nazir raises himself to a higher level of holiness.
Number 2.
A Nazir shall not cut his hair. He would let his hair grow long and was not even allowed to comb it to make it look nice. Since he was not concerned with his outward appearance, he could concentrate on his inner qualities and work on strengthening his connection to Hashem.
And finally, number 3.
A Nazir shall not come in contact with a dead body. Since Hashem considers a Nazir to be as holy as the Kohen Gadol, a Nazir would not be permitted to become tameh,
Impure.
by touching a dead body.
He could not even bury his close relatives.
Including his father and mother.
There are different laws concerning a Nazir, including how long someone has to remain a Nazir once he took the vow. When a person finishes his Nazir period, he must immerse himself in a mikveh and bring special korbanos in the Beis HaMikdash. Then comes the grand haircut.
He once again can drink wine for Kiddush.
Or for any other happy occasion.
L'chaim! And he is allowed to visit the cemetery.
This ex-Nazir is now a changed person. For the better.
famous Nazirim.
A quick history.
Not every Nazir is the same.
It's not a one-size-fits-all.
The laws of each Nazir varies according to the vow he takes. For instance, if he says,
I will be a Nazir forever,
then he will indeed be a Nazir for the rest of his life. But if he says,
I will be a Nazir,
without specifying how long, then he will become a 30-day Nazir.
Why 30 days?
The Torah says about the Nazir, Kadosh Yiyeh.
He shall be holy.
Add up the word Yiyeh.
Yud is 10, Hey is 5, another Yud is 10, and another Hey is 5.
And what do you get? A 30-day Nazir.
Let's go on a time travel tour. And we'll take a look at some of the most interesting lifetime Nazirim.
You may have heard the famous story mentioned in the Navi book of Shoftim about a well-known Nazir named Shimshon HaGibor.
Samson the Strong One.
His Nazir status was unique because an angel told his parents that he should be a Nazir before he was born, and he kept the laws of a Nazir even as a child. When Shimshon HaGibor grew up, he became a leader of the Jewish people and was known far and wide for his amazing strength.
One time, as Shimshon was walking, a lion roared towards him. And he tore the lion apart.
He fought off entire armies of the Pelishtim enemy single-handedly.
Are you ready for a war?
Not surprisingly, he got quite a reputation as a brave warrior and was greatly feared, at least until his hair was cut off.
You probably know that story.
Another famous Nazir from birth was Shmuel Hanavi.
Samuel the prophet.
Even before he was born, his mother, Hannah, promised Hashem,
You grant me a son, I vow to dedicate him to a holy life, serving you, Hashem.
And this is exactly what happened. A baby was born by the name of Shmuel.
At a young age, he began his service in the Mishkan, which continued until he passed away at the age of 52. Shmuel turned out to be a great and wise leader of Bnei Yisrael, and he was the one to crown both Shaul and David as kings of Israel.
Is there such thing as a Nazir nowadays?
What if, say, Beryl Schmerl Ben Peril,
Born in 1978, the year the Chicago Cubs did not win the World Series.
Obviously.
wakes up one bright Tuesday morning,
say 6:13 a.m., or any time for that matter,
and says,
I vow to become a Nazir.
The law is that Beryl Schmerl Ben Peril must keep all the laws of Nazir.
no wine,
no haircuts,
and no visiting cemeteries.
Not only that, but he may need to be a Nazir for a very long time, since part of the process of ending the Nazir period must take place in the Beis HaMikdash, and we currently do not have one.
But we hope and pray it will be rebuilt soon.
very soon.
So watch out! The Rambam tells us,
If someone says, I will be a Nazir like Shimshon, or I will be a Nazir like Shmuel, he must be a Nazir forever.
Has anyone actually become a Nazir in recent history?
The answer is yes.
Rabbi David Cohen, who lived from 1887 to 1972, known as the Nazir Rabbi, was a well-known European-born Torah scholar who lived in Yerushalayim. After moving to Israel, he took upon himself a lifelong Nazir vow, leaving his hair to grow long and never touching even a sip of wine.
Not even for Shabbos or Yom Tov Kiddush.
Rabbi David the Nazir was a unique individual who devoted his days and nights to Torah learning and his lifelong effort to become close to Hashem. For 40 days, beginning on Rosh Chodesh Elul through Yom Kippur, he would conduct a self-imposed silence.
Besides learning Torah and praying, he would not utter even one word.
I find it hard to be quiet even for a minute.
In addition, he refused to speak anything but Hebrew and was careful never to leave the holy city of Jerusalem. Bless you, Birkas Kohanim. We are now introduced to a special mitzvah that Hashem gave to Aaron and his descendants, the Kohanim. Bless the Jewish people with the special formula known as Birkas Kohanim, something we do in the synagogue until this very day.
Here's what it's all about.
Before the Kohanim begin, their hands are washed by the Levi'im. Draped in their talesim, the Kohanim face the Aron Kodesh and say a special blessing for this upcoming mitzvah. Blessed are you who commanded us to bless his nation Yisrael with love. Now they turn to face the congregation and stretch out their hands while their fingers form windows for Hashem's Shekhinah,
that means Hashem's holy presence,
to pass through.
When the Kohanim did Birkas Kohanim during the time of the Beis Hamikdash, the Shekhinah was openly revealed to the people.
The light was so overwhelming that people were not able to look directly at the Kohanim.
Nowadays, this tradition continues,
and we are careful not to look at the Kohanim during Birkas Kohanim.
Sings the Chazan in a loud voice. The Kohanim echo.
Echo, echo, echo.
Many congregations have their own beautiful tunes for the Birkas Kohanim, so this 15-word blessing could take a long time.
A very long time.
But it's such a privilege to be blessed that we don't mind the long stretches of singing in between each word.
Blessings galore! In many communities in Israel and in several Sephardic communities outside the Holy Land, Birkas Kohanim is done every single day. However, outside of Israel, it is only said on Yom Tov, when the Kohanim are in a jolly mood and full of brotherly love.
Indeed, the last word of the blessing is be'ahava, with love.
One of the most awe-inspiring moments every year is when thousands upon thousands of Jews flock to the Kotel,
the remaining wall of the Temple Mount in Jerusalem,
for a giant Birkas Kohanim on Sukkot and Pesach.
The largest crowds are during Chol HaMoed, when travel by cars,
buses, trains, planes, jets, or helicopters is permitted. The Nesi'im contribution. Remember back in Parshas Teruma when Bnei Yisrael gave generous gifts of gold, silver, and fabric to be used for the building of the Mishkan?
Of course I remember. After all, I have Shazak Parsha.
The Nesi'im,
princes of the tribes,
were kind enough to let everyone else give first. They had in mind to give whatever was missing once everyone else had donated.
But it was almost a miracle.
Within a few short days, it was all over.
Nothing was left to donate.
Not even donuts.
Oh no, what a disappointment for the Nesi'im.
Fortunately, it was discovered that the jewels for the Kohen Gadol's Choshen
breastplate
were still needed, and the Nesi'im happily donated those.
Now it was the grand opening celebration of the Mishkan,
the day everyone was waiting for.
The Mishkan was actually completed a few months ago on the 25th day of Kislev.
Later to be known as the first day of Hanukkah.
But Hashem chose to wait until the first day of Nisan for the grand opening. Everybody was in a super mood.
As if it was a wedding celebration.
I just adore weddings.
Here at Parshas Naso, the Nesi'im didn't want to make the same mistake again. This time, they would bring their own personal donations from their own money before anybody else. They thought,
I'm thinking.
And they pondered.
I'm pondering.
And finally came up with a gift idea that would be truly useful.
After much thought and pondering, I have it. Let's give wagons. We'll give 6 covered wagons.
They figured that it would be difficult for the Levi'im to carry the heavy wooden boards and woven materials for the Mishkan on their shoulders, so 6 covered wagons would be the perfect gift.
Hey!
Wait a minute!
Hold it! Does this mean each Nasi of the 12 Nisim gave just a half of a wagon?
Then how would they put them together?
Crazy glue?
No, silly. Crazy glue wasn't invented yet, I think.
Not to worry, it meant that 2 Nesi'im worked as a team and donated 1 complete wagon. No assembly required. To complete the package, the princes donated 12 oxen, 2 oxen to pull each wagon. Gifts times 12 equals 72, the longest parsha. After donating the wagons and oxen, these wonderful princes were still not satisfied. They wanted to do more. They had a meeting, and the leader of the tribe of Yisachar came up with a great idea.
I know exactly what to donate in honor of this special day. We will contribute animals and whatever else is needed in order to dedicate the Mizbeach, the altar of the Mishkan.
The other Nesi'im agreed. What a wonderful idea! Count us in! Each one of them brought gifts of the same amount.
Bulls,
rams,
lambs,
goats,
oxen,
incense,
and flour.
They also gave silver dishes and golden spoons to hold the incense and flour offerings.
The Torah describes in great detail those special gifts of the Nesi'im starting on the first day of the month of Nisan, the day of the grand opening of the Mishkan.
The interesting thing is that although each Nasi brought the exact same gifts,
the Torah spends 6 psukim to describe the gifts for each Nasi.
The Torah begins with Shevet Yehuda.
Hayom Harishon es Karbono, Nachshon ben Aminadav lemate Yehuda.
And then another 6 psukim for Shevet Yisachar.
Bayom Hasheni Hikriv Nisanel ben Tzuor Nisi Yisachar.
And so on.
And so on.
And so on.
And so on.
With 6 pesukim per tribe.
So let's do the math.
6 psukim
times 12 tribes
equals 72 psukim.
No wonder Parshas Naso is the longest parsha in the entire Torah. So get ready for a great question.
Why not just say,
they all brought exactly the same thing,
and leave it at that?
That's a great question.
And the answer?
By repeating the gifts 12 times, the Torah teaches us that each Nasi's gift was equally important, and that each one brought his gifts in his own unique way.
Here's an important lesson for us.
Even though 2 Jews may perform mitzvos that are seemingly identical, like lighting Shabbos candles or praying the exact same prayers, Hashem looks deep into our hearts and appreciates each mitzvah as precious and unique to each individual. In next week's Parsha,
Mahaloscha,
we'll learn about how the Jewish people knew when to stop and go as they traveled in the desert.
And about some more miraculous food that fell from the sky.
Tune in next week for another exciting episode of Shazak Parsha.